Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We're just gonna go on live today with the Mind Game episode 6, I think. Yeah, episode 6. We're waiting for the lady herself to join us, Gaia Korituaku. Waiting a couple of seconds until she comes on board. She should be here in just a bit. Thank you everyone for joining us. Our second consecutive day. We're going back to back. Yesterday we had Shalin Balasuriya. Today we have Gaia Korituaku. We've had some pretty interesting personalities with us so far. We've had Fazil Marja, we've had Sarin Dunambua, we've had Rakil Hadramani, Otara, lots of interesting personalities with us. And today we're going to have Gaia on the Mind Game. Hey Workout LK, thanks for joining us again today as well. Waiting for Gaia to come on live. Sessions, of course, brought to you by Fitski, Sri Lanka's premier fitness app. If you don't have it, download it. Don't be a loser. Download the bloody thing. It's available on iOS, available on the Play Store, and of course, brought to you by Marmite. Guys, here. Hey Navindi, thanks for joining.
Download the bloody thing.
Happy having me informal. Oh shit, what's up with this anger?
I'm trying to put a cute filter so I don't look like someone punched me in the face today. But
what sort of abuse are we talking?
And also I need to let everybody know that I'm currently in the jungle, so reception may be horrible. So if any of you
I thought you guys came back. Did you come back?
I'm still here. I'll be here for at least hoping to stay here for as long as I can. I'm loving the attention being with my grandparents. Like, what do you want to eat every 2 minutes is a great question. And
man, I saw on your stories yesterday. You guys were like playing Uno and eating cutlets and.
Yeah, I didn't. I've been sticking to my meals like a real, gangster. I had 2 Indiappas yesterday just to taste. So I'm not completely depriving myself. I had 1 thosai the day before yesterday and like really thin thosais. So I'm still not depriving myself. Life is good. And the cool thing about not being in Colombo is that for some reason you don't feel that fast pace. Let's just work till I feel like I'm exhausted. I'm still extremely productive. I've been super productive. Probably the most productive I've ever been. And I feel like people can be more productive when they're more relaxed. That's my current realization.
Excellent. So we've had lots of people joining us. We have Empire Clothing Club. How's it going? Good PR. How's it going? For anybody who's who doesn't know, like if you're one of like 2 people in the universe who don't know who Gaia is.
Oh gosh.
She is one of the most positively influential thinkers and speakers in the region right now. I think an international competitor, an advocate for speaking your truth, and most importantly, my friend. Yay! So today with episode 6 of the Mind Game with Fitski powered by Marmite, what we're trying to do is try and pick Gaia's brain a bit to try and get behind the screen of how her brain works. Okay. So first question I want to ask you.
Okay.
I noticed that a lot of people were saying, hey, with this lockdown, it's really weird. I'm stuck at home with my partner. But for you, that was your general life, right? You generally didn't like go out all the time and you were always at home with your partner. Yeah. Did you notice any difference at all? Or was it just the same?
Tiny difference because, I didn't have access to go out and experience nature or like come meet you or like live a different reality other than being at home. So of course a little bit of like, oh gosh, I need out was there, but not as much as the normal person, I would say.
Right. So yeah. Go ahead.
And in regards to like conflict in the relationship, it was the same amount of conflict, but like the fact that I was stuck, the fact that I was stuck with him made me really like dig deep and see what's up. And I feel like I feel like the relationship has really strengthened, and I feel like I have found a new sense of romance and love towards my partner thanks to the lockdown. Honestly.
Because one of the things is like when you can get away, like maybe you spend some time apart or whatever, but with curfew you couldn't do that, right? You were
Yeah.
forced to confront that shit, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So with people watching, some of them look at you and they see this strong power woman. I remember one of my friends who works at a company. She said, "Oh my God, you know Gaia? She doesn't walk; she just glides past you like an enigma." I was like, okay.
Not the Gaia that I know.
But but I think you have that personality. But the question is like, with so many people experiencing instability around you, like around in the world,
Yeah.
did you have people reaching out to you and asking you like, "Hey, I'm going through this. What do I do?" More than they do usually?
Mm, yeah, I think so. Because there was a lot of uncertainty in regards to like jobs, relationships, family, being stuck with parents. I feel like a lot of people in our generation and also in our culture in countries like us, there's a lot of conflict. And there's like differences in regards to like opinions and ideas and stuff like that. And 100% I felt like there was more inquiries. Um, but most of them were in regards to relationships, like romantic relationships. Yeah.
Wow. Because I guess, like you said earlier, people were forced to deal with their partners, right? They couldn't get away.
Yeah, and then also there were inquiries about finding motivation to train and being able to stick to a routine, and also eating habits were people found it really tough to stick to, because I train women, like that's what I do, and they struggled a little bit. Yeah.
All right. So I want to touch on a part of your life that you've probably spoken a lot about. The whole aspect of your inner connection, your spirituality, your inner peace aspect. Well, you know my take on spirituality.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, that inward journey was something they started to embark on, right?
Yeah.
With this time that they were spending, because they were dealing with lots of shit externally. What advice or what insight can you give someone who is struggling to connect internally? Like, do you have various tethers or do you have various anchoring points? How does that work?
So something that's been working for me in the past few months, and something that I just came to realize, is that I feel like what you seek is seeking you. Okay, so you don't need to bust your ass, but you need to put a little bit of effort. Like what I realized was I've been trying to force a lot of things on myself, like force growth. I would beat myself up if I didn't meditate enough, if I didn't really like feel spiritual and connected enough. But what I realized is, today I had a conversation with one of my aunts. Actually, she's one of my grandmas, my grandfather's brother's wife, and she's a meditator, and she's a really like super intelligent woman. I'll show you. She's just literally right there. And we had a conversation, and she said that a lot of us get super confused when it comes to spirituality, but in reality it's very simple. So she was teaching me about the nature of the mind and about perception, and how we are incapable of seeing reality for what it truly is, um, because of memory, because of past experiences. So if I see you right now, so you're Fahad, you're my friend, there are certain things that I know about you and certain things that I've experienced with you. So you come with a certain label, and because you come with a certain label, I cannot clearly perceive you for who you are. And this is how the mind works. So she said, whenever you can, try to apply this to every single moment. For an example, say I'm having a fight with Johan and I'm feeling anger. So without getting attached to the anger and running along with the anger and taking it to the next level, you can just detach yourself from that anger and watch how the mind perceives this. Johan is your partner. He is not matching up to your expectations right now. hence this anger is getting triggered. So that whole being able to observe, I think that is just it for me, at least. Because I remember when Natesh passed away, you see, I mean, like what a deep hole I went to, and I actually practiced this more then when I was trying to come out of it. And when life gets better, you kind of forget and you sort of move along. I feel like that's what happened, and I feel like this is what we should be doing. I don't know. At least personally, for me, I think because you told me this one time. You said you're vanilla. You said you're vanilla.
I did.
Yeah, you said your
Can't be.
you said your flavor is vanilla, but if you're around chocolate, you become chocolate. If you're around strawberry,
Oh
you
yes,
become strawberry.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I really have been observing myself and realizing that when something happens, I try to give it like deeper meanings. The universe is trying to tell me this is like a spiritual calling. No, like I always fail at seeing reality for what it truly is, and this is what I am currently really trying to put into practice, even through meditation. Yeah.
So that's an interesting topic, right? Because it comes with an judgment attached through perception,
Yeah.
and you're not giving yourself space to take it for what it is. The flip side of that is we need that judgment and perception. Like, say, for example, you see a hot thing. You
Yeah.
can't say, what is this thing? Let me just touch these things. So there's
Yeah.
judgment, perception based on that.
Yeah.
But the problem is we bring the same black and white thing to people, but people are
Yeah.
dynamic and they're changing, right?
100%.
And that's one of the things, right? So, for example, for me, I'm this word energy. You and I have had lots of conversations about it. This word energy means different things.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest idols, Nikola Tesla, said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, look in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, right?
Yeah.
So it can mean different things. But I think energy that you exude rubs off on certain people, even though you don't meet them.
Yeah.
Right. And in that sense, maybe we are attracting certain personalities or people. So when you say what you seek seeks you, the way I interpret that is your actions are corresponding in a certain way where people see it and they respond to it, type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's too complex.
No,
Like, did
no,
I complicate something?
No. I mean that makes sense in my language, which we know is different. We have different languages. In my language, it's more like attracts like. So, for an example, let's take my mother for an example. Saline, mara saline. And you know I spoil and I provide for her, but she keeps talking about how she doesn't have enough. Hence, she attracts more experiences that sort of confirms that reality for her. Like more karuna, then make her them salune, and make una then saline, and then like it keeps happening. So like I feel like the same thing goes. Like for me, I've been watching myself the past few weeks. The most dominant negative emotion has been anger.
Okay.
And whenever I feed into that anger, I attract more things that I need to be angry about. Even with people, I attract assholes when I act more like an asshole. Yeah.
That is, and then it's a cyclical system, right? We blame people around us when we don't realize that we are one of them.
Yeah.
It's like the traffic example. People complain, I'm stuck in traffic. Like, no, man, you are traffic. You are not stuck in it. You are traffic.
It's this idea of separation, because see, my senses end where my body ends. So I can feel what's happening in my body. Hence, you are different to me. It's that separation that creates the conflict. Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that I noticed on your stories that first you and Johan were working out at home with some small equipment that you had. Then you were like loading up bags and gas cylinders and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw that you guys bought, like, realized, screw this, we're just going to buy some stuff.
Yeah.
And then now, routines at home are more, So for anybody who doesn't have that, of course, they can download the Fitski app. So a small note that in the 2 weeks of lockdown, there were over 4,000 people who booked online sessions. So whether it's yoga, whether it's cardio classes or Zumba, whatever, you can do that with an app.
Yeah.
But there are some people, even with an app, even with equipment, they can't get into that headspace of, I have time also, I have equipment also, I have resources also, but I can't just get myself to do it.
Yeah.
Now, clients who come to you, they probably come with a certain thing of, man, I'm ready to put in the work. But someone who is like, maybe I want to put in the work, but I'm not really, whatever.
Yeah.
What can you say to get them across the?
Yeah. So with clients like that, I push them first. One thing they can do is the meal planning. So if you prep your food, you would need very little willpower or motivation because it's already there. Now, when it comes to movement, getting off your ass and training sometimes can be like it's even I don't feel like I get in the mood all the time, so I force myself. Especially on Monday, I didn't feel like training, but I really forced myself. So what I do for clients like that is I ask them to do what they like to start with. Like, why don't you just go for a walk, or why don't you do like beginners like yoga flow session, something simple to get you started, and then slowly we progress with consistency. That's what I did with myself when I first started as well. I started with walking, then I started running, then I started yoga for a year and a half, then I started lifting. So it progressed.
So when you were talking about how you started and like when people have seen you on stage, that aura of just pure dominant confidence, people don't understand that it's been a journey, right? You don't automatically get there.
You you remember?
Yeah, of course.
During last competition, holy shit! I was like, I was constantly confident and doubtful, confident and doubtful. I can't do this. I got this. It's such a battle, Yeah.
So a lot of people now with this whole COVID stuff, their jobs are maybe unstable. Their livelihoods are maybe whatever. And everybody is looking to what can I do mindset, right? But along with doing, even for the most physical things, like lifting weights, there is another equally important mental part. In your stage where you were obviously in a physical judgment competition where your doing was judged and your mental thing, like the outside world doesn't see it, how tough was it?
Shit, it was all mental. It was all freaking mental. Even during, so my second prep was not as amazing as my first prep. In my opinion, my first prep, a lot of people thought I took steroids. That's how lean I got. I couldn't believe it when I saw pictures later on, but even until I got on stage, I was not entirely confident about the way I looked because I was competing with athletes who were on substances. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I was not on the same playing field. Is that what you call it? Yeah. So I did not get intimidated by them at all. Like I admire other athletes, but for myself, I was not sure if I was good enough for stage. So throughout, even until the very second, there was like so much of a mental battle. I had to listen to music. I had to talk to myself. I had to pray. I had to like hype myself out. It was more than anything physical. It was even the prep is a mental prep. Training 8 hours a day and like beating my body up on a daily basis for 16 weeks, it was completely mental. Yeah.
And one of the things is that after you go through that huge mental load, then there is a sense of relief.
Yeah.
And then it starts again and again and again.
Yeah.
So one of the things that people look to you for is guidance.
Yeah.
In terms of various aspects of their life, especially women, but a lot of men as well, because of your insight. What is your opinion on how people perceive themselves? Because I've noticed that a lot of people have a very small sense of self-worth. Because you've gone through that journey, right, where you thought you were a piece of shit, to a point where I know who I am.
Yeah.
And what's your perception on someone making that transition from thinking that you're not so worthy to a point where I am worth something? What are the aspects that influence it?
What influences? Is that what you said?
Yeah. What are the aspects that influence that perception?
For it to change like that.
Yep.
for me to find confidence in myself, I had to actually become good at something. Because, like for an example, when I first started, I'd never applied myself to become good at anything. And I was such a loser. I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't keep a relationship. Not that it was important for me during that time, but I was just such a mess. I didn't have integrity. I lied about stuff. So I had to really like focus my energy into one thing, becoming a better person, to speak my truth, uh, to like commit to something, you know. So when I started training, things started changing because I was like, I had laser sharp focus on this one thing, and I applied myself every single day to a point where my knowledge grew, my skill level grew. And you know how uncomfortable I get when I speak in front of crowds. Even that has evolved. Now I'm much more comfortable compared to what I used to be back in the day. So I feel like time and focus changes it. What else?
The company you keep, does that matter?
Sorry?
The company you keep, like the people you
My
associate
God.
with, the people around you?
100% 100%. Like there were moments where I cut people off, people who I've been friends with for decades, for years, people whom I identified with as my tribe. um, I had to cut a lot of people out. Now recently, Johan and I had this conversation. You know how we kind of stopped smoking weed, drinking alcohol. We completely like stopped that life, right? And then recently we had this gathering where people got together, and these people were kind of our friends. Yawn. I
No,
excite
no,
you
I'm not
so much,
yawning.
no?
No, I'm not yawning, dude. I was going back to the part. I was thinking about the part was like, oh, can you say smoking weed on this? That's what I was thinking,
Too bloody day. Sorry, Fitz.
and I repeated it also.
Yeah. Oh well. So no, I mean it's not something that I encourage. No. So I think I can say it because I was doing it for such a long time. It was kind of really messing up my life. I lost my motivation to work. I was becoming lazy. I was becoming a loser. So I had to make that conscious decision to stay away from things that slow my growth. Right. So now recently, I had this get together where a couple of my friends for my birthday came, and there was this substance going around, and I had a conversation with Johan and said, we really can't, even for a change, even for like a special occasion. I really don't want to have this around me and in my life. Sorry about words. so like I'm so conscious about the people that I interact with to a point where I don't even want it occasionally. So I really make sure that my company is of the top level. Like I have very few friends. I have you. Stephanie is now a friend of mine. I have a very few, very I feel like high quality individuals who have like ambitions and goals and.
Wow,
I mean,
amazing.
but right, but don't you need to be around people who aspire to be better? That way only can you sort of grow, because what do they say? You become like the 5 closest people you interact with. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's everything.
So there's this thing I want to ask you, because like you're pretty successful in your field, and an aspirational goal for a lot of people, but you don't settle, right? In terms of, okay, I've done this, but I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do something different. A lot of people, they have this traditional way of thinking where, find one thing you're good at and make it your entire life, that like whole 1930s attitude. But we can do different but related things. What's your advice to someone who's like, trying hard to excel, but in one field without looking at various other diversification options?
I feel like, for me, I can only speak through personal experience. I'm sorry, I'm literally seated next to the road because I don't have reception at home, so you can hear all the buses and the tuk-tuks and the bikes.
Even the reception here is not too great. Your face is fully pixelated.
Oh shit. Okay, so answering the question, I feel like if you don't have a really good core thing, like this one thing that you're great at, I feel like it will serve you well to put in effort to make it perfect. Like for me, with online coaching, I've tried doing other things while doing online coaching, but as of late, I've been really giving it my 100%. How can I add more value to the service I provide? And that has been really like been great for me financially, with how my clients are changing, with how the business is changing. But at the same time, now that I'm getting really comfortable with the dynamic of my core service, my core thing, now I'm slowly moving into other stuff. Like I'm designing some clothing right now for my, you know, this for my ladies. So I personally think it's great to have a good solid base, and then from that point and from that space expand into other things. What do you think? I could be wrong.
No, I think that's correct because there's this saying, jack of all trades, master of none. But people have gotten that wrong because there is a follow up to that, which says it's better than being just a master of one. With the internet, with opportunity, we've got to hedge ourselves, right? So maybe say, like people have experienced with this, your source of income suddenly dies, it goes away. What are you going to do, man? Like, what are you going to do unless you've hedged your thing? So even in my line of work, I have the training, I have the comparing, I have the coaching, I have the one-on-ones. I have the books that I'm writing. So you and the online courses, you just diversify because you can.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense for me to now go and start a car sale, right? So that's like diversifying outside my zone, right?
Right.
But people get that so wrong because our parents are from that generation that like, do this one bloody thing. Like, no, dude, try and settle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Like,
Now, yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
I forgot.
Goldfish.
Go on.
For a while, I dabbled in photography. Like I did like this wedding photography. Then I tried portrait. Then I played some bass in a band. Tried like a whole bunch of stuff until you settle in your little thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you. Oh my gosh! Like with the jobs that I did, I worked in an NGO because I thought I wanted.
No, really?
Oh yeah, because I thought I want to serve people. I didn't know how, so I tried being in an NGO. I hated it. I was in radio because I thought I'm meant to express myself. I mean, some of those things are like true and accurate.
Connected.
Really, yeah. So radio was, oh my gosh, I was doing radio for 5 years, doing radio shows. I hated it. It was like really sucking the life out of me. Sorry? So that I worked for Gordon Ramsay in Australia. I worked in his restaurant. I worked in call centers. I used to do meditation classes. I used to teach a bit of yoga. What else? Oh my gosh! I used to read tarot cards.
Back when you were sort of really snake oil.
and I used to do Reiki healing sessions like for people. I did every single thing which I felt was connected to my calling, but they all had certain things that were in common. Serving people, expressing myself. I never knew it was going to be fitness that I was going to gravitate towards, but I tried every single thing until I found it. So it's good to try. Yeah. Absolutely.
So to everybody who's joining us now, this is the Mind Game with none other than the amazing, outstanding Gaia Korituaku, international competitor and overall Pora. Really love the insights that we're sharing. If you are struggling to work out because the gyms are closed, then by all means download the Fitski app. We have yoga, we have Zumba, cardio class, a whole bunch of stuff, connecting fitness personalities with you. You can work out on video. So the app is available on the App Store and the Play Store as well. And of course, the sessions are powered by Marmite. Marmite is enriched with vitamin B. That's good for red blood cell generation, for cardiovascular strength, as well as an all-around good time. Huh?
Can I tell you something funny about Marmite? I used to call my
knock yourself out.
So the pet name or like this nickname that I gave my mom was Marmite Butter because she's much shorter than me. She used to hate it, and I used to say Marmite Butter. Magi Nama, and she used to just get really pissed off. Just a little bit of Marmite packs.
Dude, do you like Marmite?
I love Marmite. I
You know what I do?
love
Dude? I just put the spoon in and I just eat it like that. That's like
I make the drink.
this-
I make
Uh-huh.
the drink, and I could put Marmite on any damn thing and eat it. Like truly, genuinely. I love that shit. Yeah.
Because we're not plugging it. We're just talking
No.
about things that we like.
Yeah. Marmite is not paying me, you guys. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should.
Maybe. Okay, so we're just gonna read some comments. Anybody has any questions, by all means, you can ask. Andrea Melissa 12 says, 100%. There's so much truth in every single thing that you've said, Kaya. Heart. That's from Andrea. Lots of hellos. Chelsea Fernando says deconstruction. Yes. Chelsea also asks, are you in a jungle, Gaia? Because your connection is really bad.
Yeah. I really am in a jungle. So this is so this behind me is a school playground which is next to my house. This is the most amount of reception I can find. This is where my grandparents live. As you can see, it's like an old colonial situation, and that is the road.
Ade. So you actually came to the Para to chat with us.
Straight up. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yes.
Saroj says, I love Marmite too. Chami says, hello, Fitzky. How's it going? Fitzky, Fitzky is a collection of people. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
Unless the app starts talking. Okay. My next question to you is on the lines of consistency. Now, I've been 105 kilos. I've been trying to lose weight. And, you know, one of the things I've realized is that being consistent is one of the most important things, right? But people know it. Being consistent is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
People know it, but they really suck at implementing it. Now, you had a deadline, right? When the competition came, you know that this is comp date.
Yeah.
I have to work towards it. What do you say to someone who doesn't have that competition coming up, right? What do you say to someone who's like, there is no external deadline, so you can just do it whenever you can do it, right?
I fake I fake seriousness. Like right now, being around my grandparents, all I want to do is eat the butter cake they've brought for Johan. Like when Johan is here, all they want to do is feed him. Every 2 seconds, they want to feed me too, but I'm more strict with my food. So they have brought butter cake, they're making toast, to India, and I'm on like very little carbs these days. So I fake some seriousness and I tell, you know, like you spend so much money for your pink salmon because my coach has asked me to eat like, you know, daily pink salmon. So pink salmon, you know, costs a hell of a lot, right?
අපි නම් කට්ටේ අපි කන්නේ tin fish. Pink salmon.
Tin fish will come
Pink.
up there. Yeah. So basically, I tell myself, you spend this much money on a coach, you spend this much money on your food. You're not going to come to your grandparents' house and completely like mess up your diet, put on weight, and regret everything. And I fake things in my head as if I'm about to go compete. Like I even fake certain deadlines and stuff like that because I have gone through this whole weight loss, weight gain thing after Natesh passed away because I put on 20 kilos right after that because right after competition he passed away and then I put on 20 kilos and then I've been yo-yoing a little bit on and off because I've been put on bulks, I've been put on cuts. So the last thing I want is it digress or regress? What's the right word?
What do you want to say? Like go back?
Yeah.
Regress.
Okay. What does digress mean?
Like go into detail or deviate.
Oh, got it. All right. Regress.
අද දවසේ ඉංග්‍රීසි පන්ති ඔබ එතගෙන ආවේ.
So like for me and even I feel like even if you do regress, you need to be able to forgive yourself and move on. That's something that I've really I have really not taught myself to do, but now I'm slowly getting into that. but I literally fake deadlines for myself, and it's been really, really, really honestly working. I swear to you, because for the past 3 weeks I've been on only 32 grams of carbs. That's like eating probably around 150 grams of banana, like 1.5 bananas a day. That's all I have. That's all I have. So so yesterday we went to my grandfather's brother's house. There was thosai, there was Indiappa. I had 2 Indiappas, and I was cool. So because I can have that conversation with myself, saying, "Listen, you're a grown ass woman. You've been doing this for a while. You're not gonna just let go. So you need to constantly have a conversation with yourself, like every single day, and to not mess up. Especially if you have an addictive, extreme personality like me. I love food. There's ice cream in the fridge right now, but I ain't gonna touch it.
Even if it's sugar-free sorbet.
50 grams. 50 grams.
So I'm on Johan's. Well, I need to get back on it, but Johan mentioned something about flexible dieting. So I was like, yeah, as long as I count my macros and stay within the calorie range, that should be okay. Kind of thing is what I keep justifying.
That's true, but at the same time, with flexible dieting, if you're eating a bunch of processed food, even if it fits your macros, your body might not function that well.
Okay.
I love this. This is not a plug, but I Love Gelato has sugar-free ice cream. So I bought a few, and I know the ingredients are really good. I would have 50 grams. That's like 3 spoons, and that's it. I don't touch more than that. So
Per day.
Per day. That's like a little bit, but still I can taste it.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
And you eat chutta, like really chutta and
Savor
enjoy
it.
Yeah.
I want to quickly go back to that thing where you said that you're good at faking deadlines. So obviously a series that just finished is The Last Dance, right? And something that you constantly saw about Jordan was there somebody looked at him
Hey, one second. My credit might die. If that happens, I'm going to quickly put credit onto my phone. It'll take me 2 minutes and I'll come back on. Okay?
Are you serious? Okay, අතරතුරේ මම විරුදුවක් හරි කියලා ඉන්නම්. Come on there.
Okay, last
So one of the things that you saw with Jordan was that he's having dinner at a restaurant and some guy who he knows passes him without talking, and that's motivation. Like, I'm going to crush your team tomorrow. Also, like some guy says something to him like, "Hey, I can defend you." That's motivation. So he's always looking for ways to create that motivation in a world that's not giving it to him.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, like nobody's going to come and give you that deadline unless you're running a bloody race. Then they put the line.
Yeah.
But when you're doing your own shit, it's up to you to create those deadlines. The problem with people is this deadline just becomes so flexible because we assume we'll live forever. I want to start dieting tomorrow. Like this Balagiri doshe, that tomorrow.
I have a solution for that.
What is it?
Podakina Loria cannot. So
කුරුල්ලොයි සල්ලි නැති එකයි ලොරි මාරු ප්‍රශ්න.
Hold on, but let me tell you what I do. Johan hates this, okay? When I mess up with,
and I think, guys, that's Gaia's credit gone. So to all the 44 people who are currently watching, as we see Gaia's little circle turning, that means her credit is over. And we will use this opportunity while she reloads to tell you about Fitsky. Don't go away. She'll come back. Us once again after she puts on the credit. So guys, if you have the Fitsky app, by all means download it. Available on the App Store and Play Store. With the 2 weeks of lockdown, we had over 4,000 bookings, people signing up for classes, whether it's fitness you're looking for, whether it's Zumba, yoga, or cardio classes, anything you want. Best fitness experts are on the Fitsky app, right? That's number one. And of course, get yourself some Marmite. We're powered by Marmite, enriched with vitamin B. And that is good for red blood cell generation, good for cardiovascular health, and of course, good for muscle regeneration as well. And on that note, we're waiting for Gaia. Good luck. I think I've managed to. All right, I did it. මම පොරක් මම ඒක බැලන්ස් කරා කොහොමද ඒක ඔය
Okay,
දැම්මද
so
රීලෝඩ් එක
never. Two
හරි හරි
seconds. ඒ තරම් පුරුදුයි මේක වෙලා. You know? Okay, so I have like I literally call so Johan and I would be sitting and I would tell him we are such I can't swear, no?
you can man this is the internet
Okay. I said I would say we are such fucking losers. Look at us, lazy motherfuckers. You know, we are such like I would go on a rant calling ourselves for what we are. Like I mean, David Goggins taught me that. I would literally look at myself in the mirror and I would be like, you loser, like you lazy piece of shit, and that really helps me come out of it. That's really. I mean, honestly, Johan always said no, but I said I would tell him don't sugarcoat it, don't let yourself off the hook, because you are being lazy, you are telling yourself that it's okay to sleep till 9 o'clock in the morning when there are people waking up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and doing way more work than you. Given the fact that we have a platform, there's more opportunity. You know, there are people's lives that can be impacted, and knowing all of this, we're taking it easy. That's being a loser. So really calling ourselves out, that's been like key for me, honestly.
I think that's really interesting because I go in the opposite direction. I do like you know what I start to think I'm like not many people can do what you do. I will play these. I'm a crazy Nike fanboy, and I will play all my Nike commercials, like you're swimming upstream, you got this, man. All of, and just psych myself up. While at the opposite works for you, where like I'm shit. I could be doing so much, but I'm not doing it, type of thing.
Because I tried that other way for such a long time, especially when I was an actual proper loser back in the day, when I like a real proper OG loser. And I would always tell myself, it's not your fault. There are like circumstances are making you do this. My God, these damn words. Circumstances are making you do this. People.
For a moment, I thought I'm talking to. Are you in Kapila Rasnayaka's neighborhood? It sounds like that.
Honestly, like there's a bird right here. But so I would never take responsibility for not taking action, for not having the discipline. I would literally blame everything, circumstances, people. So I literally have not given myself the permission to do that. True, what you're saying is true. Not everyone can do what we do, but at the same time, the fact that we have this amazing opportunity to become better, and the fact that we are being lazy pieces of shit is it's no excuse. But it's okay to take a break once in a while. I feel like it comes in seasons. There are seasons where you go into hibernation, and there are seasons where you are exploding with inspiration. During quarantine, I was in hibernation. Now I'm exploding with inspiration. These damn birds.
Well, you're in the birds' neighborhood. They're like, you know what they're saying, right? Hey, there's this crazy woman on the road who doesn't have a reload. What's up, yo? Those are the conversations they're having. So another thing that I want to touch on in terms of this mental game is with relation to, say, there'll be 20 people saying, hey, guy, you're doing a great job, right? But there'll be one shithead saying, what's going on?
This is because this happened to me yesterday.
Okay, so there'll be one person who decides to come and put that gomabindua. And as Homo sapiens, we're very emotional creatures. What do? We take all that 20 good things for granted and we bloody fixate. We fixate on that one inconsequential drop of shit.
Yeah.
How do you process that?
So yesterday, I recently posted a video on YouTube called My Favorite Spiritual Tools. So I talk about stuff that you may not really, vibe with, like crystals,
spiritual,
and, spiritual stuff. And then there were so many good comments, like such incredible comments. I mean, compared to other videos, viewership was not that massive because that subject is very, specific. But there were hundreds of amazing comments, and there was one guy who said, Gong Harako, some like me gani, way on good up gani, kill kianda laja, full on thing. So it happens. It happens. Like, come on, man. There were people who hated Jesus, and he was all about spreading love and unity, and all of that. I mean, what does that make me? I ain't Jesus. And that's nothing compared to what I've gone through in the past. Like I had this situation where I had to get the cybercrimes division and the CID involved because there was like cyber attacks on me, and like I have gone through all these phases of getting called out online, or you know, um, you know, hate being directed to me. But I feel like after so many years of going through that, I've built like this immunity towards it. But it does hurt a little bit sometimes. You're like, what the fuck? Why? Why do you like to know that someone out there hates you? It makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. But like I said before, I last night I did this practice of really watching my mind, how it responds to it, and I can let it go quite easily. Few years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say this because I would like really hang on to it, and I would respond to it. There were moments where I even had gone on Instagram and spoken about it. This person, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I just don't give space for hate on my responding to hate on my platform anymore at all because it's not important to me. But I feel like people need to go through it to understand how to navigate through it. But at the same time, I've seen people who fixate on it for like a very long time. I know this one particular person who's a business person who handles hate really bad. This person would hold on to that piece of shit and really like stretch it out.
Fixates on it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. How do you handle it? For me, if I know if it's not constructive, then I let it go then and there. I first ask myself if there's a truth in it. If there's no truth in it, then it's not important to me. It doesn't concern me.
So, I'm a crazy Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, right?
Yeah.
So yesterday in the morning, I found an Avatar: The Last Airbender Sri Lanka fan group that had 3,200 members, and I was like, "What? No way!" And so it's a largely in this group. So I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy to find you guys!" And I put a picture of my Avatar: The Last Airbender elements tattoo in the group, and I said, "Hey guys, I'm this much of a crazy fan." I said lots of people had commented and stuff. It was great. Then in the evening,
God.
I went to the group again, and it's not a big hate thing. I went to the group again, and I put a picture of my phone wallpaper saying, "Hey guys, this is a cool Avatar picture.
That's so
Let's see if you have any Avatar wallpapers." No, stop it. So then lots of people were putting their Avatar wallpapers, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is great." Until one guy popped up and says, "Nobody cares about you or your wallpaper." So now, so it's not a big thing, right? And as the moment I saw that, I was like, dude, what's your problem? We're all just fans here sharing our little fangasms. Like, what's your problem? So then I decided that I was going to respond, not react. I was going to respond. So I underneath typed, I'm going to say it in the tone I intended. Of course, it's now how to start. It's like, oh, we got a gangster up in here. And then he responded saying, kidding, bro. And it just dissipated, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't just focusing on it anymore. But I was then tracking back and looking at my reaction where I was itching to say something. Just itching to say something. But when I could have just walked away, the fact that you're at that stage where you can just walk away means that like you've seen it happening over and over again. And I guess for people, it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's a journey where, you say things, you argue, you realize there's no point, and then you just keep going back over and over and over again.
Someone said that you can't argue with an idiot, right?
Yeah.
I really think about that saying whenever stuff like this happens, because in the past, whenever I had tried to respond or try to have a conversation, it's just turned out really bad. I think maybe a month or two ago, I had someone messaging me. I sent you a screenshot saying, "Look at this, I had to respond."
Yeah.
One person was like, I had put a screenshot of one of my clients really appreciating my work and saying that you're really this is a service for women that you do, blah blah. And then this person messaged me saying, I know you don't love anyone but yourself. You don't even love Johan. You don't even love your family.
What?
Yeah, and then I think I responded because I wanted to say something, and after that point I didn't. I didn't even open the message after that, whatever this person responded me with. But there are certain moments even I feel like I need to respond, but 90% of the time I choose to walk away because, like I said before, there's no point in speaking with someone who already has a preconceived notion. Is that the right way to use it? Yeah, about you. There are people who absolutely. And can I tell you something that happened recently? I was in a webinar and I was in a panel of really inspiring individuals. Would I say this?
Check yourself. Dun, dun, dun.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should not. Yeah, maybe you should discuss this in a more private.
Hari, මම එහෙනම් කතාව මාරු කරන්නම්. A good way to look at it is if you're worried to think about yourself, am I responding or am I reacting? That's the most simplest way. So a reaction is just let's say a reaction is maybe involuntary, but a response is calculated.
And exactly, you should never respond out of, especially when your emotions are heightened. I wait a little bit and then I really ask myself if it's necessary. And one other thing that I do is that I sort of try to see where this person's coming from, this person's background, this person's upbringing, exposure to the world, understanding, perception. Because certain comments or certain opinions really show where they're coming from, and that makes me empathize with that person and feel sort of like, okay, I'll let you have it, kind of thing,
So that's so obviously I'm atheist, and I encounter a fair share of people who want to get into religion-based conversations with me, right? And when I was younger, I used to with this evidence and this chapter from your book and all of these things, right? Yeah. But now I'm at a stage where I just try and assess, is there anything that I can say that will open your mind or change your mind? If yes, let's proceed. Then you can you can exert that energy. But if no, it's just two people shouting at each other. Who has time for that?
And at the same time, and when you and I talk about it, because we have different views on certain things, it's such an eye-opening thing because we're not trying to convince each other. We're just sharing ideas, and we're both interested to learn the other person's perspective, because you don't, for real, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So there's always
for sure.
possibility.
Yeah.
So on my spiritual tools video, this one person said, this is really demonic. You should let go of all of this and come to Jesus because Jesus loves you. And I was like, dude, I really appreciate Jesus. It doesn't mean that what are you trying to say? Anything that doesn't come into your bubble of what you think is right is demonic. That shit's demonic.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about burning some sage and holding on to some stones, dude. How is that demonic? It makes me calm. How the fuck is that demonic? So yeah.
that person, wherever he is, right? So one of the how long have we been talking for? These sessions are supposed to be 30 minutes. Shit. We've been almost 53 minutes. So anybody who has any questions for Gaia, by all means.
I think there was one question that I saw somewhere.
There's a comment from Ikram Gems who says, "Hello Gaia, appreciate you looking after the dogs." Okay, so for everybody who's watching, I'd like to do Gaia a favor because she stopped doing this to people. There are lots of people who call you Gaia.
Oh gosh.
But Gaia is short for Gayatri, so it's Gaia.
Gaia. Yeah. And there was one question in the live before I went to get my reload about how I mean, if a healthy diet has to be expensive, it does not. It does not. For an example, you can eat very normal alabatala manuka but masmalu and have a perfectly healthy diet. It's just that I come from a background of being super broke for so long that now in certain areas of my life I'm a little bit extra because I like certain luxuries like good food. So I would put a little extra money because I don't buy clothes. Most of the time, wear Johan's clothes. You know, I don't bust cash on anything. You know, I don't bust cash on anything but food, to be honest, and my family. So I'm cool with spending money on like pink salmon, for an example. But but when I competed my first two competitions, I was not eating pink salmon. I was eating normal tuna, canned tuna, normal chicken, normal stuff. So
අර අපි වගේ සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සු වගේ හරි හරි.
සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සු වගේ.
So I found this question. So where Chaminda Jayasundara has said, can you give an idea about the cost percentage of the healthier diet against the usual Sri Lankan diet? And Workout LK has said Sri Lankan diet is healthy. Fried rice is not Sri Lankan diet, Chaminda.
The only thing is your protein intake will have to go a little bit higher if you're trying to, even if you're trying to get lean or to build muscle. There's a certain protein requirement that's necessary. So ekara පොඩ්ඩක් සල්ලි වැඩිපුරයි. You might have to eat a little bit extra eggs or have more meat or fish or something. So ekara පොඩ්ඩක් it's not going to be too expensive. One more thing, can you give me a second? I want to check my battery percentage. Stay right there.
ඒකට රීලෝඩ් එක දාගන්න කොහෙන්ද දන්නේ නැහැ නේ.
I have 7% more.
All right, guys. So okay. So wait, Bob. So on the topic of eggs, the wonderful Johan Seth tagged me in the raw egg challenge, and he was nice enough to say that I'm supposed to eat 3 raw eggs. And contract salmonella in the process, but I will do it, Johan. I will do it. He
asked me if he wants, if he should tag me, and I said no. No thanks.
That's a marasi, no. He won't put in trouble, but ahala pahal in the kattiya, he will. Very good, very good.
Guti kanduran.
Domestic abuse karandepa. All right, so we have a question from Tisseri. What methods do you use to get out from a depressed mood?
I don't do anything to get out of it. I let myself be present and feel it. Completely feel it. The number one reason behind people being depressed is because they don't want to feel bad. They feel bad for feeling bad. Hence, they're trying to run away from this emotion. Hence, the emotion lingers in their system for longer. So, if I'm feeling shit, I really dive into that shitness, that shittiness, and let myself feel it. Like honestly, even when I'm angry, it's something that I consciously do now. When I'm angry, like I really let myself become present to the anger, and it really dissipates really fast. That's my Bapi. He's like, what is this?
Coming from far away.
Yeah. No,
What's she doing on the road?
No, because to them, I'm still like the fat. Hello, good morning. I'm the fat, spoiled in the sense like my grandparents love me and I'm the center of their attention. I can't do shit on my own. I'm still that guy in their eyes. So when they see me on the phone, meetings. Meetings. The only time they validate my achievements is when they see me on a magazine cover. That kar leti.
මොකක් හරි කරලා ඇතිනේ. Well, it's good. It's good to be on a magazine cover.
Yeah.
We have a question from Hari Josh 24. Okay. How to eat healthy if you have to go to a buffet? I like this part when you say you have to go to a buffet. Like,
you
like someone's like, go to a buffet.
Palyang. Take it Palyang. So
what do you do?
This is a question that I get quite often with clients who have to go. I guess they have to socialize on and off. No? You can, like for an example, go for the clean protein. So for an example, I'm sure there's a roast beef or roast chicken or some form of clean protein opposed to proteins cooked in sauce. Go for the clean protein. You can go for salads and vegetables, and you can go for the carbs like rice, potatoes. You can still eat those things. Just stay away from the deep fried, covered in sauce, very sugary desserts. I'm not going to ask you to not have dessert. Have something in moderation. Have one portion of dessert. Don't have 10. I tell my clients, cheat meal, not cheat day. So yeah.
All right. So why am I getting a notice saying 20 seconds remaining? What is this? Okay. So for whatever reason.
This is going to shut down.
I don't know what that is.
It's 1 hour. It's going to shut down.
Oh shit. All right. So what do? We have like I gave a thumb 10 seconds. So I guess we'll restart it. No, very
Okay.
quickly.
Hari.
We will restart it. 6 seconds. I had no idea about this. It's a shit scene.